When most people look at a site, this is all they see. A generic satellite view, like what you'd find in Google Maps or Apple Maps or Public Works. This level of detail just isn't enough. As we zoom in, you can see how quickly the image breaks down. It's blurry, it's outdated, and you can't trust it for real-world decisions. Let's switch to what this same site looks like with professional drone mapping. Instantly, the image sharpens. You're now looking at a true orthomosaic, a high-resolution, GPS-referenced map created from a full drone flight over the property. As I zoom in and move around the map, you can see the difference: clean edges, accurate lines, and enough clarity to actually understand what's happening on the ground. One of the biggest advantages of this kind of mapping is that we can track change over time. Now here's November 20th, 2024, just one day later. You might notice something a little strange between these two sections of the map. There's a visible seam where the maps were captured on different days. This project was actually a deliberate case study on why it's important to work with a professional. When drone flights aren't planned and executed correctly, you can end up with stitching issues, seams, or misalignments that can be very misleading if you're relying on them for documentation or decision-making. That's why consistent, carefully coordinated capture is critical, especially on active construction or infrastructure sites. Now let's jump ahead to April 4th, 2025, a capture where both sections of this area were flown on the same day, using a tightly controlled flight plan. Notice how that weirdness disappears. The map is seamless, clean, and aligned across the entire parcel. As I zoom in a bit further, you can actually see the power lines running from the road through the property. That's the level of detail and consistency you want when you're tracking utilities, planning earthworks, or documenting existing conditions. Finally, here's the most recent capture, June 2nd, 2025. This is less than 2 months after the last map, and look at how much the site has changed. As I zoom in, you can clearly see heavy equipment on site, the excavator, the skid steer, and other machines actively shaping the project. Panning over, you can see the piles of stone and gravel materials staged and ready to go. This isn't just a pretty picture, it's a measurable, time-stamped record of exactly what was on site and when. If you're in construction, development, or public works, this is what my drone mapping services give you. Clear, high-resolution, time-stamped maps that show exactly how your site is changing, week by week and month by month. I handle the planning, flying, processing, and delivery, so your team gets reliable, visual data you can trust for documentation, coordination, and decision-making. To bring this level of insight to your projects, visit WarkMedia.com or email jtw@warkmedia.com.